Welcome back to the channel. My name is John, and today we have a little different of a video. I'm going to share with you our recent bourbon trip to Kentucky, and hopefully it'll help you plan your trip to Kentucky. Leah and I left Sarasota early on Sunday. We had a 7 a.m. flight with a small layover, and we ended up landing in Kentucky a little bit after 1 p.m. Our home base for this trip was the Hotel Distil right on Whiskey Row. After checking into our beautiful hotel room, we had a little time to do a little exploring. So we made our way down to Michter's, which is only about a 0.7 mile walk from the hotel. Once we were at Michter's, we did purchase one bottle of bourbon. Unfortunately, it was just the regular bourbon, but we did manage to get upstairs to the tasting room bar area and had a little flight, which was delicious. They have several different flights to offer. We chose the Michter's bourbon flight, which was regular bourbon, 10-year bourbon, barrel strength bourbon, and bomb burgers. So back to the hotel, and we went to the steakhouse that was in the hotel, Repeal, which was amazing. Delicious onion soup, delicious bread, great selection of bourbon, and they cooked the steak to perfection. After dinner, I did finish it with a little bit of Bardstown Silver Oak. We also did a little bit of studying in my field guide to get a little prep for tomorrow. I will also leave our full itinerary in the description with where we stayed and the company that drove us the time we were there, Bourbon Excursions.
That's the water source. You know, bourbon can be made in America in a brand new white oak barrel with 51% corn anywhere.
Right.
But 95% of it's made in Kentucky.
The first stop on our tour was Independent Stave Company. They've been around for over 100 years. They are a worldwide company that crafts barrels for many of the world's top producers. The first part of the tour was across the street from the factory. They don't allow any filming in there, so we did a little filming here just to show you the anatomy of a barrel and what goes into actually making the barrel. This was definitely a great way to start our week on the Bourbon Trail. If you have time, it's always a great place to start, and it's highly recommended.
The bolt down there, about the size we're looking for, you can only use the densest part of that tree. ISC partners with anywhere from furniture companies to flooring to dog bedding to make sure all that tree gets used. So even though it's only 2 per, I'm not going to fight you on that, doesn't sound like a lot, all the tree does get used. Inspect the tree, make sure no mold, infestation disease, anything like that would not allow us to use it. Now again, 2 barrels of tree, doesn't sound like a lot. So every tree you're going to cut down, you're going to plant 2 to 5 in its place. Because of this practice and other companies that do something similar, more marijuana trees grow now than were 50 years ago. Last year alone, Jim Beam planted over 220,000 trees. Again, the song here, we're going to cut these down to bolts, quarter bolts, staves. You can see right here behind us and in front of us. Once you have those staves, you'll set them outside for the season for a couple months. You're looking to pull tannins out of that wood. Tannins you often expect, people like that. Now, from here, you're going to steam out these staves. These are put together by hand. No glue, no nails goes into this process. It's the staves and the rings themselves. Now, get into the charring gear. 55 seconds to the natural gas. Get this level 4 char, also known as an alligator char. See why in just a second. But the fact you're going to see in the wood here is for that liquid first start to seep into the barrel itself. 70% of the flavor, 100% of the color comes from inside the barrel. Now, from here, put a cap on the bottom. Once they pass all their quality checks in terms of leakage, breakage, things like that, they'll get sent here to us. We'll fill them up just as we over there, and we'll put them into our warehouse.
Our first distillery stop is Maker's Mark.
First, we're going to talk history, friends. This place, it dates honestly back to the early 1800s. Around September of 1805, there's a man by the name of Charles Burks. He came here, established the land, built that still house in 1866, ladies and gentlemen. We're still using about 8 of the original buildings that the Burks family built when they established the land here. So this body of water y'all folks was talking about, y'all don't want any parts of that. But however, when the Burks family were here, friends, that's Whiskey Creek right there. They used Whiskey Creek to power their distillery in Bristol. They switched that building over to steam. We just kept that for campus aesthetics right there, okay? Now, friends, you see that building right there to my left? That's called a courthouse, Q-U-A-R-T, okay? Now, this pathway we all stopped on, this used to be our original distillery entry. Did you start down there when y'all came 20 years ago? Yeah, exactly. But before that, friends, the Burks family actually made it as a toll road, connecting the small town of Loretto, that's right over here, to Lebanon, Kentucky. So people will come through this toll road on their horse and buggy. You can stop at that little courthouse right there. The Burks family will fill up a whiskey jug for you folks. That's the oldest drive-up documented liquor store in the state of Kentucky right there. Yeah. The reason all y'all folks come to see it. So on October 3rd, 1953, that is when our two founders, a man by the name of Bill Samuel Sr. and his wife, Miss Margie, they came here. Friends, they purchased 200 acres of this land for a whopping $35,000. There's a couple reasons why. There was already a functioning still house on the property, but our founder, he wanted to be close to his own grain source. And we wanted to control his water supply. So, friends, right on top of that hill back there, you can't see because all them pretty trees have grown in. But we have our very own 11.5 acre limestone filtered lake. That's where we get every single drop of water to produce that bourbon for y'all folks. So, if you guys have been or going on the Bourbon Trail, you hear the importance of that limestone water. It starts your whole process. The limestone removes iron and adds calcium to enrich the water. A little quick history about our founder. The man Bill Samuel Sr., folks, 6th generation distiller. They've been in the whiskey business a long time, okay? His family actually ran a company in Bardstown called T.W. Samuels Distillery. But here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Sr. and especially Miss Margie did not like that brand of bourbon. Per her words, she said it was an old bottle shelf, blow your ears off, rock gut stuff, okay? So, like any good husband, he listened to his wife, Miss Margie. He sells the company, friends. And then one evening over dinner, our founder said, you know what? We're going to start from scratch. He takes his family's recipe that's about 170 years old. Bill Samuel Sr. lights it on fire in front of his whole family and just throws it in a bucket. Exactly. He had a taste vision, friends. He wanted to elevate that bourbon to a premium spirit. Smooth, well-balanced, and bitter-free. Folks, that's how Maker's Mark came into an inception, all right? Next stop on this amazing tour, we're going to walk right around the corner, have a quick stop in front of the still house. We're going to talk grains and mash bills, folks. It's not going to take me long because a lot of you guys probably don't know. We only have one bourbon mash bill here. The 1D strain, it makes everything. So it's going to be Jimmy Jack Flash quick. We'll get inside and I'll explain how we do this for y'all folks, all right? Cypress wood, okay? Foundations of these vats, they date back to... Now, friends, these bubbles here, carbon dioxide, oxygen, and heat. So basically what's going on, friends, the fire in here, this was to commemorate our 60th anniversary. We reached out to the world-renowned glassblowing artist, Mr. Dale Chihuly. Me personally, I seen his work first one fine night at the Bellagio Conservatory, as you can find him in Seattle, St. Louis, the Biltmore, all around the world, friends. This is called the Spirit of the Maker. How she works is, the red flowing through here, of course, is for Miss Margie's signature red wax. Your blue is for the limestone water out of Harris's Lake. The green is for the American White Oak Barrel. The yellow, that's for our grains and our mash bill. The traces of amber, that's for the color of the bourbon in the bottle. And then you added those beautiful angel cherubs. That's for that lovely smell you can really smell in Warehouse A. The angel share as the angels evaporate to heaven. This is the Spirit of the Maker, friends. And on that highlight, that's the conclusion of the classic Maker's Mark Tour, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody enjoyed. Oh, thank you. I'm glad y'all enjoyed. Oh, yeah. Pleasure, folks. It is raining outside. We got shuttle service. You don't have to get out in the rain. Restaurant is open as well. Cocktail bar is right in the back of the home place. You guys make a day out of it. Stay safe. And when you guys get in here, if you want to dip bottles, it's super easy, super simple, folks. Just go to the front counter, buy your bottle. There's no additional cost to dip it. I'll be waiting for you guys at the desk there. I'm gonna get you some safety equipment. We're gonna put your initials on the bottle so we know who to give it back to. And then, friends, all you gotta do when you get up there, you go in the pot, over the pot, turn, stand. You guys have a beautiful and blessed day. Thank you so much for your time.
Right there. When you hit there, tilt it flat, spin it twice, stand up. Just dip, tilt, spin it twice. But not straight up. You want to tilt it flat. There you go. Just like that. And then fire it up. You're good. Go for it. Then, yep. Spin. Perfect. We have about 5 minutes. We're going to let it set. I'll call the initials. Go right back down here. Put everything in the pocket.
For lunch today, we were able to get a spot at the Star Hill Farms right at Maker's Mark. This is the bottle that I hand dipped. We chose the 2024 over the 2025 based on the suggestions from the employees. The next stop on our journey is Log Still Distillery. They have a really cool amphitheater here, and we'd love to come back and see a concert.
White dog in it. Wow. That was known as a dry house. That's where the slop, the spent grains would go. They drip dry in the heat. So they'll keep the buildings. There's plans to build a depot at some point.
You say it like it's a bad thing.
He does, right? He's always like, ooh, that's too good to be.
The law that said, you can only use barrel once. When that's passed, it's got to be the first use of the barrel. All right. That's unique to American spirits. That justification was. So, the main thing with distillation is that at this elevation, water evaporates at 212 degrees, and alcohol starts.
Let's start off from the very beginning. So, we were established in 2012. Our owner, he originally was a lawyer, owned his own law firm. When he chose to go into this, it was kind of a way to step away from practicing law and go into a whole new industry. And well, when in Rome, why not bourbon? So there's basically three things that matter the most here in the state of Kentucky. We have a lot of fast horses. We have a whole lot of bourbon, which I can take care of for you, and very specifically to this part of the region in central Kentucky and well, kind of the whole state of Kentucky itself. Thankfully, UK basketball became relevant again last year, so we were all kind of excited about that. But these are kind of the three main things that really drive the tourism aspect of this. So Sam chose to go into doing bourbon. Now, he was not a distiller. He did not have that in his background. So he was very much self-taught, learning how to do this on his own, learning how to make bourbon using a crock pot, a 5-gallon bucket to learn how to do fermentation in, and then essentially try to learn how to do the distillation using basically like a 5-gallon turkey fryer. By the way, this is going to be my safety disclaimer from one of the days. Don't try this at home. It can go very sideways very easily if you don't quite know what you're doing. But he kind of put the whole project together, and then we got started off in the latter part of 2012, going into
go along to tell you kind of the progression of what we've done over the years to get to the space that we're at right now. We spent basically all the first 2.5 years making bourbon. We were not open to the general public. We were not selling anybody else's bourbon. That was kind of a thing that was not a highly popular thing to do, sourcing other people's bourbon at that point in time when we began. So kind of a big roll of the dice of hoping that we're doing everything correctly. Do this for about 2.5 years and then open our doors up to the general public in 2015.
Next stop, the famous Buffalo Trace.
Oh yeah, like right up there. Yeah, that's all Buffalo Trace.
Nice.
And there's like 17 of them up there. And again, during the fall, when the leaves are down, you can see them all.
So that's the new.
That's the new ones. There's about 60,000 barrels in each one of those. They've got 1.5 million barrels of bourbon sitting on that ridge. For 1984, when his bourbon came out, because Elmer T. Lee re-erected his bourbon. But him and his wife lived up here as president of this distillery. He has Taylor.
Right there?
Yeah.
We arrived at Buffalo Trace about 1 o'clock and there was no line. You don't have to get here super early unless they have a super rare drop. On Sunday, Father's Day, they're going to drop a 12-year-old Eagle Rare, and I'm sure the line on that's going to be around the block.
Bonded story.
Everybody come down to the lemon pepper. He's putting the metal tube into the barrel. That metal tube introduces the air into the barrel, so that it will be very quickly. And then when you're holding your milk jug up upside down, it will take too long. So it just hurry out.
These barrels they were dumping today were stamped W.L. Weller. Not sure if it's just a regular Weller, because that's what they had in the gift shop in a couple of days, or if it was a William LaRue Weller. The next stop on our tour was the tasting room, where we tried the Wheatley vodka, Buffalo Trace, Blanton's, and Sazerac rye. In a little room just outside of the tasting room is the whiskey vault, where they store different types of bottles to preserve for the future.
Let someone buy it or no?
Nobody's allowed to buy it.
Oh.
And I don't understand why there's so many
Yeah.
of certain things like Sazerac rye back there, but
Right.
there's a reason for a reason.
Years later, I guess, right?
Good history right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you might want to take a picture and zoom in.
After leaving Buffalo Trace, we went to check out Whiskey Thief Distilling Company.
Come out.
not a lot in there.
There's not much left.
Are you guys ready for food?
It's like almost empty. It's gonna take an hour to go.
Whiskey Thief was definitely a cool place to check out. I did manage to get the bottle filled with a little help from the team.
I did it.
I did.
If you have time, I would definitely suggest checking out Whiskey Thief. After we left there, we went back to the hotel and we went to Jeff Ruby's for dinner. We had an excellent steak and Leah got a little sushi, and then we went back to the hotel to get ready for tomorrow. The next day brought us to Claremont, Kentucky, home of Jim Beam Distilling Company.
So they just, like you said, just kind of play,
Yeah.
see what they're coming up with.
Yep. These are about 25 or 30,000 barrels.
It's beautiful around here.
Jim Beam is definitely a beautiful location. After checking out the gift shop, we did the Beam Made Distillery tour, which also included a tasting at the end. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Jim Beam product is. Is it the white label? Is it Jim Beam Black? How about the Jim Beam Rye? I've never tried the Jim Beam Winter Reserve, but I suppose that's probably good. They have a Jim Beam Double Oak, Devil's Cut, Jim Beam Single Barrel, Old Tub. Could that be your favorite? Let me know in the comments.
Fermentation, what you're doing, you get all of your mash, you put your yeast, 3 to 5 days of fermentation, you get a product called Distillers beer. It's 8 to 10% alcohol. It's a foamy, oatmeal berry substance. Once you have your Distillers beer, you go to the big house. So this painting you're seeing on the side of the building here, that's the actual size of the column still itself. 65 feet tall, 6 feet wide. Now, our Distillers beer is going to leave those tanks, goes through this column still, get you a product called low wine. Low wine is alcohol, it's been distilled once. You're going to take that low wine, run it through a doubler, go get your product called high wine. High wine is White Dog, White Lightning, moonshine if you like. High wine is the liquid itself that goes into the barrel. It ages to become bourbon. Now, once you have that high wine, you throw it in the barrel, ages, all that fun stuff, right? This steam stack over here to the left, once our Distillers beer goes through the column still, a lot of stillage left over, a lot of grains, a lot of nutrients. So what we do here in Claremont, we're going to steam it out, dry it out. We're going to feed the livestock for our local farmers around here.
Boy, try to catch every good drop here. Don't spill it. Don't spill it.
Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Oh, good catch. Good. Here, I'll take that from you. You want to look at this? This is the result, the art of 9 years you're looking at. You see all the, just the color, the goldenness. That is what it's on. Unfortunately, I can't serve it to you. It's not taxed. So I'm going to oh, you're looking good, right?
See today, this is an active Dutch line. This here, we'll be running full speed. It's going full speed. It does about 20 bottles a minute.
Oh, this is whiskey. Same thing's going inside.
Off here.
Looks like they're getting rinsed again. Yeah, they were getting rinsed again. Now they're getting filled.
there you go. There you go. Oh, nice.
We did one. That's what my name.
Alright, so each bottle gets a pull tab. Just makes it a little easier to get back into. Two dips in the wax. And it gets some balls. So that chills it, and it puts that Knob Creek logo on the side. Put a little bit more on top of your fingerprint.
First up, got John P. Go around top, down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Straight up. Beautiful. We'll get these picked up at the gift shop. Once we get back to top of the deal.
You get them personalized, Anna?
Just, yeah, if you want to get it right.
Okay.
Down top, down for 2 seconds. Straight up. Beautiful. You got the last point as well.
Never mind.
Same thing, down for 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Straight up. Beautiful.
Don't like it? Send it back and we'll drink it.
I can't wait to see the video, man. Okay, did you guys enjoy it? Good. How's the whiskey? Well, good, guys. I'm glad you stopped by. Thanks for stopping by.
The Heaven Hill Bourbon Experience is not a distillery, but it's definitely something cool to check out. They have an excellent restaurant that we ate lunch at, and then we also did the tasting. We picked a barrel, and we were able to bottle our own.
Doesn't look like it's all going to fit.
I know. But it's perfect.
Perfect.
Voila.
And then you're going to have your labels, and you'll stick it in that quarter. So, and your labels are...
So now he's labeling it, and you have to label it properly, otherwise they won't let you leave the building with it if it's crooked or messed up.
Be mindful of that. You know, some people get them all on there to talk.
Okay, do not listen. What did you say about the Kentucky?
If you guys want any pictures,
And
The next stop on our tour was the award-winning Bardstown Bourbon Company. The first place that we stopped while we were here was the gift shop. They have a lot of cool things to offer. Not only did they make great whiskey for themselves, they also do custom contract distilling services for other whiskey bourbon brands.
The back house of Rick House A. Now, first and foremost, I think it's one of the best smells in the entire state.
thank you.
Sir?
No, it does take, because of all the wood is going to act like an insulator, so it typically takes it about 2 to 3 weeks to actually match the temperature, and then colder in here during the winter. So like I said, if you come back here in like the middle of July, it'll be nice and sweaty, very humid, and the alcohol vapors are going to really hit you. So that's also a thing to think about too.
Did this barrel leak in this whole life cycle?
This is definitely a world-class facility. Great tour. We got to go in the Rick House, as you could see, and then we also picked up a bottle. Now we're headed back to the hotel for a little dinner. The next day on our bourbon tour brought us to Woodford Reserve, another award-winning bourbon company. Oh,
Here was looking, we've taken full people.
Woodford Reserve originally started with the 3 pot stills on the right and then had to add 3 more back in 2020. We were lucky enough on our tour to witness the barrels rolling out of the distillery into the warehouse. If you look in the background, you can see that Woodford Reserve also uses the barrels from Independent Stave Company.
Y'all smell why we live in here, right? So this is Warehouse C, also called Charlie. 1890, this was built by the second owners of the distillery, LeBreau and Graham. You may have seen L&G on the smokestacks on the distillery. They were here 1878 to 1940. So when they built this barrel house, they also used new technology under the bottom floors. They installed steam pipes. You can see them if you look down under there. The nozzles are right up by the front door up here. So it's something Woodford still does. Caitlin mentioned some historical practices that we do. This is one of those. So in the winter, when it's cold in Kentucky, we heat cycle our warehouses to, well, I'll explain why in a minute, but through natural temperature changes, whiskey works in and out of the barrel in waves, mellowing it out, more flavor, more color. And we don't ever rotate or move barrels like most distilleries do. One reason we don't is because we heat cycle. Now in hot summers that we have in Kentucky, heat creates pressure in the barrel, makes the barrel swell. As the barrel swells, the whiskey's forced into the wood.
The next stop on our tour was Castle and Key Distillery. This facility was originally built early on by E.H. Taylor and has had several different distilleries since then. It lay dormant for a bunch of years, and then this company took it over and created some great bourbon, vodka, and gin.
You think that's one of the springs there?
It is.
Alrighty friends, we're not quite going into the castle just yet. We're just going to start by going into this roped off area here first to cover a little bit of information. This is the point though where I do need to see. Y'all would not mind to please rise. I'll be honest.
I like the Woodford.
Yeah, Woodford's good. The double oak's really good.
Yeah. They probably had the most I liked. Oh, you don't want to move.
No, he didn't.
Castle and Key is located very close to Buffalo Trace, so we stopped back by, got some Weller and some E.H. Taylor. Our next stop on the tour, we went to Frankfort Ave Liquors. We met with the owner and had a little bourbon tasting. We did manage to pick up a single barrel store pick that they picked out. It was phenomenal. It was an Old Forester. Definitely, if you're in the area, stop by Frankfort Ave Liquors. The next stop on our journey was Old Forester on Whiskey Row. They are located right next to Hotel Distil. They have several tours to choose from a birthday bourbon tour, Goodness Never Varies tour, and the regular Old Forester tour, which is what we did. Leave a comment and let me know what your favorite Old Forester product is.
first thing you're going to see is our copper double. This is located in the back of the gift shop. Next up is our column still. This is Big Penny. Big Penny is 44 feet tall, 24 inches internal diameter, made by a local company called Gander Copper. Craned into the building. The building was completed around the still. How's that for normal?
Old Forester is one of the only distilleries to have a cooperage on site.
Right around this closure area, right here, it's real hard to get those lids to sink in properly. So if that be the case, I'll take these cedar chips, I'll wedge them into wherever that leak was, and I'll flip it upside down with that water in it. Anybody know why? It expands in these permanent irons, closing up any gaps. Since you're over there, can you help me on this side? You're gonna be looking for bubbles or something squirting you in the face, okay? Same on that side, you got me? We're gonna roll that water, making sure to saturate every one of the staves. You know why? Because I'm the best Cooper this side of the river. Is there any questions? We'll make it multiple choice in the production work.
All right, folks, this is our on-site warehouse. This is where we're going to talk about bourbon.
There was a group doing a barrel pick today. When this distillery was built, this was the first barrel to be filled with distillate, and everybody that was there that day got to sign it. After we finished our tour at Old Forester, we headed back to Michter's. We had a tour there also and did a little tasting, and then we went back to Repeal for a great dinner. If you guys have made it this far into the video, we really do appreciate it. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really would appreciate it if you did. If you like these type of videos, let me know in the comments. We usually do fishing videos, but I figured I would share our journey to Kentucky to do the Bourbon Trail. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.